Hey everyone, hello and welcome to my first YouTube video. I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do with my first video, and honestly, I kind of got this whole paralysis by analysis thing going because I just have so many ideas and wasn't really sure what to begin with, what I should start with. And eventually I just realized I was way overthinking this and that this is my first video. I'll be lucky if a dozen people even watch this. So the more important thing is that I just start. Doesn't really matter what it was with. So I asked myself, what do I want to make a video on right now? And at the time, my girlfriend and I were going on a trip to Bellingham to visit her family, and we were going to bring the Fuji x100v naturally. So I thought, what better time than to do a video, not so much an in-depth review on the Fuji, but how does it handle as an overall ultra portable travel/road trip camera. At this point, I feel like every photographer knows about the Fuji x100v. It has got to be the most hyped up camera I have ever seen. There are videos upon blog posts just praising this thing. And honestly, I believe that it lives up to every ounce of hype that it's getting, but we can talk about that in another video. For this video, what I wanted to do was test out how does this thing function as a super portable, lightweight travel/road trip camera, because you can literally throw this in your pocket, slap it around your neck, and you're good to go. So for the purpose of this video, what I'm gonna be doing is all of the footage in the video, aside of this in my office right now, which I'm shooting with my mirrorless, all of the footage is gonna be shot with the Fuji x100v. And I kinda want to give you an idea of what the footage looks like straight out of camera. So I'm shooting with the baked in color chrome film simulation right onto the footage, and I'm not going to do any color grading or anything like that, except I'll adjust some exposure if I've got some underexposed shots, overexposed shots, and maybe adjust the composition a bit and throw on some image stabilization. But other than that, I'm not going to be touching the colors, the contrast. This is just to give you a really good idea of what the footage looks like straight out of camera, basically untouched. Anyways, let's hit the road, check it out. Driving the Coquihalla was a good place to start because it was just so visually stunning. My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind. The first thing I noticed when I was shooting with the Fuji was the complete lack of video stabilization. This camera has none, so you're gonna need to do some in post unless you have some crazy steady hands. It's also so light and so small that you could easily just throw it on a travel gimbal if you have one, so that would completely solve this problem. We got to the Airbnb in time to catch a beautiful sunset, and by this point the Fuji was really impressing me with its video abilities. We know that this takes really fantastic photos, and they look so good just shooting JPEG, and I know it feels weird as a photographer to be shooting JPEGs. I never thought I would be after shooting RAW for the last 10 years, but here I am shooting JPEGs and not even editing them. It's great, but the fact that I can do that with the video as well, that's something that like really kicks this camera up a notch to like, okay, this camera I'm gonna take everywhere with me. I just wanna have it on my hip. So the next day we went out to a park and I got to shoot with an abundance of my absolute favorite color to shoot with, green. The portability of this camera is pretty wild. Just thinking that I can shoot this quality of video with a camera that literally fits in my pocket is impressive. I have a couple DSLRs and a mirrorless camera, but I've never taken one on a trip like this. They're just too big and bulky to carry around, whereas not only is the x100v so compact and light that you feel like you could take it anywhere with you, it's also a camera that inspires you to shoot. Everything about this camera is just designed in a way that merely having it hanging from your neck makes you want to keep picking it up to capture something. Angie took off to a family event and I hung back at the B&B, and I figured this would be a perfect time to walk around and take some photos. I mean, this is why I bought this camera, so that I could just have something that's super easy to walk around and casually take photos with. Because like with the DSLR and with the mirrorless, even with the lenses on it, it's still pretty big. And something about it just feels too official. Like if I'm taking my DSLR, if I'm taking my mirrorless out, I feel like I'm either doing a job or I'm doing this planned shoot. Whereas with the Fuji, I might not even think about taking pictures with it, but I'm just gonna bring it with me. And then when I see something, oh wow, look at that light, I'm gonna get a picture of that. Oh, this is fun, I'm gonna get a picture of that. Whereas with the DSLRs, you just can't really do that. This is also a really unassuming camera. Walking around doing street photography, this is like pretty chill. Somebody probably wouldn't mind if you take a snap with this. Whereas the DSLR, it's so big and like you point that in somebody's face, a lot of the time they're not gonna like it. But anyways, before I decided to go walk around and take photos, I had to make some coffee. It was at this point that I realized I hadn't really tried out the microphone yet. This is how it sounds in camera. And this is how it sounds outside. All in all, I was really impressed with the Fuji's ability to handle video. Admittedly, the lack of image stabilization was a bit of a challenge, but I also have like fairly shaky hands, so other people might not have as much of a problem with that as I did. And anyways, it's something that you can just stabilize in post regardless, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm definitely going to be doing an in-depth review of this camera as well, and I'm sure it'll be featured in a few more of my videos going forward, just because I love it so much. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know it's a little rough around the edges. It's my first YouTube video, and also like I feel pretty awkward, just even though nobody's here, sitting in my office, talking into a camera lens by myself. Feels kind of strange, but I think I'll get used to that pretty quick. And I'm gonna be putting out a new video every Monday, so they will be getting better. I'll be doing tutorials, vlogs, reviews, just anything photography related. So if you're into that sort of thing, make sure you hit subscribe below so that you see when I post a new video, and leave me a like and a comment, because that's a YouTube thing that YouTubers say. So I don't know how to end this, so it's just gonna end right now.